and welcome to another edition of Steady Droppin Dimes. Love getting on here with my guys, my fellas, my boys. I love getting on here because I get a chance to talk
your
about
geniuses, your know-it-alls. Basically, just tell all the things that we are.
Hey, Daniel, I be getting messages from he be on his social media. Throw it up. Hey, I got to throw up 305 so I can lift double her body weight. I be laughing, but you know what?
I told you I was in that gym, boy.
I be laughing at my man.
Wait, hold on. You didn't came over to Instagram, TikTok now?
No, I don't, but I don't have TikTok, but I for some reason you have me on TikTok.
You don't get on Instagram, so how you see it?
I follow you on TikTok one time. You had me on TikTok one time, and I followed you. And so for some reason, I get notifications on your TikTok. Either you put it on TikTok or Instagram or something. So I ticked it. So I clicked it, and it said throwing up 305 with ease, so I can lift double her body weight.
Yeah. You just gotta let them know. To be clear,
I said, okay. So I had to tell my trainer. I said, I gotta show this youngster.
I don't think that's gonna happen, Sam. You a little too old.
I gotta show this youngster.
You ain't gonna be able to catch me, Sam. I'm telling you, man.
I gotta show this youngster.
That's just the workout weight. You know what I mean?
We
ain't even getting to
what it is.
The strength weight. You know
I gotta show this youngster what it is. But that's all right. That's all right. So
Daniel, this is Sam.
You have a little something for him, Daniel.
Hey, Daniel, this is Sam way of saying, oh, you was moving that weight.
No, he was moving the weight.
Yeah.
But he was a little too impressed with himself. He was a little too impressed with himself, man.
Hey, he said, if I don't love me,
ain't I always?
Tell him, DG, if I don't love myself, who will?
All right.
But okay.
I love me.
I thought it was kind of funny. But that's what we do here on Steady Droppin Dimes, right? And we do it with you guys, for you guys, every single week. And we do it around sports, mostly Michigan, but we also bring in sports more at large as well. And we do it brought to you by our gracious benefactors, our sponsors, who make it possible to come to you every single week. And so Devin is one to I mean, my bad, baby. He said, "Hey, man, where are my tickets? Where my tickets?
I need my tickets. I just need two. If you can get 3, I'm fine with that. But two, but I need priority seating. I need to be in the mix. I need to make sure I can see and not obstructive view. You know what I mean? If we can do that, I just feel like we should be able to do that. I mean,
Okay, so listen.
Man, if he's like this and he doesn't have any kids, wait till he has a daughter.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! We are. Oh my God! You do not want to see me. They gonna kick me out.
It's gonna be crazy. Well, I love DGs. Devin's.
You should see my
Davina's. Oh my God!
My trunk, like my pickup, my bed. I have couches in my trunk to make sure when I go to the games that I can sit there for hours on end. I remember I went to the what was it, quarterfinals, something like that for basketball. I sat there for 6 straight hours, didn't move.
It's gonna be good. So what are we talking about? So one of our great sponsors, Ann Arbor Sports Commission. Now we talk about sports on a weekly basis. Of course, University of Michigan, Eastern Michigan. When you think sports in Ann Arbor and Washington County, you think about the colleges, right? You think about Michigan football, Michigan basketball, which you're going to get heavy into today, the great run they had through the Big Ten tournament.
That we gave them the formula for, but go on.
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing I'm laughing about. Devin was like, hey, man, they was watching the show. Sam, they watching the show.
Hey, he said in the press conference, we had to lean into the physicality.
Yeah, he's like, hey, they watching the show. He said, they got it from us. All right, but anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
You think about the big colleges, you think about Michigan when you think sports in Washington County. Well, there are sports beyond the University of Michigan and even Eastern Michigan and Washington County. And our friends at the Ann Arbor Sports Commission, They are vital. They are instrumental in helping bring those sports to Washtenaw County. That is their function. That is their purpose. They are great when it comes to that. When it comes to that service, when it comes to that role that they play in this community. Excuse me. And one of the great events that they have that they're playing a role in helping bring to town, the NAIA Cheer and Dance National Championships. Folks, now my friend Devin Gardner, he said one of his favorite movies, Bring It On. He said, man, if there is a national championship for cheer and dance, I got to be there. Well, 28th and 29th at the Eastern Michigan Game Above Center in Ypsilanti is going down. That is where the NAIA Competitive Cheer and Dance National Championships will be going on, brought to you in part by our friends at the Ann Arbor Sports Commission and Concordia University. And the NAIA is the only athletics association to offer a national championship in this sport. 12 dance teams, 15 cheer teams qualify for a prelim and finals for the national championship. And one of the teams competing, by the way, Concordia. So you're going to have some local flavor as well competing in this event, March 28th and 29th. And again, it is this kind of spectacular event that our friends at the Ann Arbor Sports Commission are helping bring to town. And you can get on out and enjoy it. And not only that, it's also an event that is giving back to the community. As you heard, as Megan was on a couple of weeks, and George Aubuchon from Fred Aubuchon, from the NAIA was on, and they were talking about how the athletes that are participating in the Cheer and Dance National Championships are getting with some of the Special Olympics athletes in the community, teaching them some of the cheer and dance routines as well. So giving back to the community is a great part of this event as well. All the more reason to get on out and help support it. So again, that's March 28th and 29th, the NAIA Competitive Cheer and Dance National Championships right here in Washtenaw County over at the George Gervin Game Above Center in Ypsilanti. Get on out. You can get your tickets. You can go over to annarbor.org for more ticket information as well. That's where you can find all the information over from the Ann Arbor Sports Commission site. Again, folks, one of our great sponsors. You can always find out some of the great events that are coming to town as well. And you certainly will see us, your Dropping Dimes crew. Devin was like, where are my tickets? We're going to get you some passes, Devin, I promise. We got you covered there, brother.
Hey, man, I just want to let you know, I love Bring It On so much and cheerleading, and I respect what they do so much. But I almost got beat up yesterday because, Ashley, my woman, she works out with kids. She's trying to stay fit too. And then she squatted something crazy. And she got it. She did. I said, man, that was good. I said, great job, my little sweater monkey. And I flicked her forehead. But I was just quoting the movie, and it just came out. I'm still the same kid I used to be. The impulse control issues, they still exist somewhat. And she said, why did you just flick? Don't worry about that. Sorry. I lost myself a little bit there. I was excited. I was proud, so it's all good.
Yeah, I think you got outside yourself there a little bit.
Got outside myself. I got it right in the middle too, Daniel. Hey, yeah. I said, great job, my little sweater monkey.
Oh, man. Why one time I said to my wife, man, I can't remember where we were at. And I said, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. I said, it's not rocket science. Why did I say that? Why did I say it? I mean, that seemed like not a big.
I was proud. I was congratulating. I just went over the top. You're tripping.
I said it's not. All I said was it's not rocket science. I didn't say. I could have said.
And she heard. Oh, so you think I'm stupid?
Right. I could have said that's some BS. Or that's
that would have been better.
That would have been better. That would have been better. But man, oh my God.
She never even heard the word rocket or science.
Oh man, I can't.
She heard you're stupid.
To this day, I can't say those two words. Too. Like I can say it indirectly on this podcast, but I can't say rocket science.
Like on Daniel, like on Life. You know what? You don't even say clock no more. You don't say watch. You say little clock or something. If your mouth even fixed to say, I'm going to whoop your.
So you better not say watch. You better say
little
clock
little watch.
Things
little clock or something.
I can't order pico de gallo at restaurants no more. I can't do it.
Why not?
I told y'all that story. Like we were at the restaurant, and this waitress she came over, and she said, we ordered some nachos, and she said, oh, you know, you want some pico de gallo, and it kind of rolled in my natural reaction, like, ooh, and I said, ooh, say that again, and she smacked me on the head.
Hey, she flicked you in the middle of your head. What you talking about?
It was how she said it. It was how she said it. You know how it's like a reflex.
All right, like NCAA tournament, Big Ten champs. Let's go, because he gonna dig himself. He got a shovel, and we're gonna take the shovel out your hand. We're gonna take the shovel out your hand. We're gonna move forward.
You don't understand, man. Ain't nobody. You know how much I love you know how long I've been right. My wife was born 4 days after me in the same hospital right down the hall. That's how long we've been riding.
Y'all been friends.
Yeah, I mean, we. Hey, man.
It's your spirit.
And the shovel you always use to dig, she gonna take it out her hand and slap you in the back of your head. You don't move forward. Let's move.
I said, ooh, say that again. She slapped me on the head. Now I can't order no pico de gallo ever again in life, man. I can't even walk down the aisle with the pico de gallo. That's how bad it is. Anyway, let's talk NCAA tournament. All right.
And so, how right we were. Let's talk about how right we were.
Yeah, man. Man, I said to Tim McCormick, I said, Tim, I ain't never coached a day in my life. We talk so much about this team shooting. And Daniel said, hey, man, they need to play more physical. You say, hey, Sam, they need to rebound. You say, hey, Sam, they need to stop turning the basketball over. You say, hey, Sam, they need to play some defense. There's so much they need to do beyond just shoot the basketball. But the one thing that stuck out to me, Daniel Horton, is I remember early in the season, they were at least playing some semblance of defense. And this was one of the things that Mike Boynton brought to the table. Justin Joyner brought to the table. Like Dusty went out and intentionally identified coaches who had defensive acumen. This was like, all right, that's not my thing. I'm going to get some coaches who that is their thing and compliment me in that way. And I was surprised by how much of a defensive focus that they had. Even though they weren't great, it was like, it was, you know, he was holding them accountable for that. If you're going to be on the floor, you're going to play some defense or you're going to come off the floor. And then that started to wane. Seemed like towards like the Minnesota game. And they were getting away with it, like you would say. And then they started to not get away with it. And they started to lose games. So I said to Tim, Daniel, if it's me heading into this Big Ten tournament, I don't care what else happens. If I look out on that court and I don't see them not playing defense, whether it's an effort thing or a communication thing, or not be locked into their scout thing, if I'm not getting what I want on the defensive end of the floor, you're sitting down. I don't care how many shots they made. If I'm not getting on defense, Daniel Horton, you sitting down. And I'll be damned if we didn't see the best defense of the damn season. From start to finish, they had Braden Smith in the blender. John Tanji was, I mean, they had the clamps on him. I know he played a bunch of games in a row. But I don't know what happened to them boys on defense, but they need to bottle that stuff up and put it together in the NCAA tournament, because if they do, they're going to be playing for a little while.
You know, I agree. The way that they played this weekend, the physicality, the intentionality, the level of focus to the game plans, because those were 3 different style of teams that they played against, game plan specific, attention to detail. All of those things travel. Like, you know, in DG, like you're saying, football, certain things travel, like running and blocking and tackling. All the stuff, the fundamentals of the game travel. If you can do those things at a high level, that sets the platform, that sets the foundation for your individual talent and skills to shine. And I think that's what me and Devin both hinted at, not hinted at, but we talked about the last episode, that if you lose yourself within the things that you're required to do to help yourself and your teammates be successful, your individual game is going to come out, right? And that's what happened with Trey Donaldson. He focused on being a leader and being what his team needed to be, and in the process, he was able to hit game winners. He was able to do it, get busy in transition, and do his thing, and do his antics that he likes to get into when he has it going, which gets everybody else going, right? So like but all of that starts with giving of yourself to the team first, whether that's defense, blocking out, giving multiple efforts. When you do those type of things, especially this team with the 2 7-footers and the talent they've assembled, they're going to give themselves a chance to play against anybody and beat a lot of teams as well. So, like you said, if they can bottle that up and make that the norm moving forward, I can see them making it to the second weekend, right? But it's and one thing about basketball, it has to be habits, right? Means that it has to be consistent. It can't be a 3-game thing. It has to be a everyday thing now moving forward. So hopefully they've corralled that and got a hold of that.
One of the things you said, Devin, you said, hey man, when you got in a slump, you just wanted to, whether it was shooting free throws, there were things you would do to get going. Seemed like to me, when you're not going on offense, one of the ways you get going on offense, hey man, play some defense. It could get you in a running game. That's one of the ways that teams who are in a slump, defense can spur offense, and that's what it felt like. Like their defense spurred them offensively all weekend long.
Yeah, it was very clear that they watched the show. I mean, last episode we were searching for answers, and I was intentionally asking Daniel certain questions to make sure, like, hey, let's just put it out there. We've given them a chance to figure it out on their own. They haven't quite done it. They're on the skid. Let's make sure they go win this Big Ten championship tournament. And so, losing yourself, and that's why I put myself in of like, okay, I didn't play at the college level, but basketball is essentially basketball, right? So when I'm playing in high school and my shots aren't falling, when I'm a guy that's shooting the ball a lot, I gotta go get steals, right? I gotta go bully their big man, right? I gotta sit down and D up on their guards if that's what's needed of me. I'm gonna get steals. I'm gonna get fast break dunks. And like I talked about, once I get fast break dunks and for Trey, once you get fast break layups and you showing out, and like Daniel said, he's doing his thing that he does when he gets going, that's a part of the game. That's why sport is so amazing, right? Sports are so amazing because it's not just what you do, right? It's the antics. If it wasn't about, sometimes that extra stuff, you wouldn't have people at the games. It wouldn't matter, right? But or home and away wouldn't matter, right? But it's a thing that you can lean into when you're doing all the little things. And it was so cool to see Trey, because I haven't watched a whole bunch all year. I just take my information from Daniel, and then I kind of use my previous experience, and I put it all together. And it's like, well, this is what they need to do, it seems like to me. And they did it, and it was cool to watch, right? I was texting you guys. I don't ever text you guys during the game. I'm sure you know that. But I was texting you guys like, man, that's a play, exactly what we were talking about, right? The steal right there, right? Okay, he turned the ball over. We're not saying that you're not going to make mistakes, right? You turn the ball over. Hey, go find a way to get it back. And he did that a few times, and it was really cool to see.
Yeah, man, I think repetition at anything is habit forming. And I think the same thing goes when it comes to being the guy. And so what we are asking of Trey to be the man, to be the facilitator, the point guard. Like you kept saying, even tweeting or texting during the game, Daniel, be what they need you to be. Mm-hmm. Point guard it's not always scoring. It's not always passing. It's not always one thing. Be what they need you to be. Well, you need reps at that.
Yep. You
need reps at that. And they haven't. I'm not making any excuses for Trey. The job is the job. Right? You got to answer the bell. Like, you came to Michigan to be that guy, and he hasn't been able to be that guy every game. But to give him some grace, it's not like they've given him a whole lot of reps at that either.
Yeah, when this is his first year as a starter.
Yeah, when you're taking that role away from him on a game-to-game basis, like you're putting that role in Danny's hands a lot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you're spreading those opportunities around, saying, hey, we're getting out and we're running and we're getting a shot up in the first 10 seconds of the clock. It's whoever has the ball is facilitating the offense. It's where it's everybody is facilitating the offense. Well, when it comes time for him to take over and he hasn't had reps in that role and he is not ready to, okay, now it's time for him to go, and he can't do it every single time. Well,
Yeah, I think that's a bit of an exaggeration. I don't think everybody facilitates in this offense. It's offense that's meant to have multiple guys facilitate, right? But with the makeup of this team, we know that's not that's not how they operate. So, like you said, that's really been moved over. A lot of his responsibilities have been moved over to Danny Wolf, and so that's, like you said, that's kind of limited his reps in certain areas. But I think, like you said, the more that it's a time on task sort of thing. Like DG talks, like I hear y'all talk about with young quarterbacks all the time. Like certain things you can only learn in those. You're gonna learn in those situations. You can't learn in
when the
practice.
fire's hot. You can't learn.
Yeah.
Practice is not. I mean, practice is cool and it's great, but if the fire's not hot, because Daniel, if people don't play at the level that you played at, I played at, they don't. And Sam has covered for so long, so he's had so many conversations, so he understands it as well. But the feeling in your stomach and like your skin, and it's like when you
legs turn to jelly.
Your legs don't work. You know what I mean? It's like mental paralysis from time to time, and you have no idea how you're going to react in those situations. Right now, you get a lot of reps at it, and you kind of start to know, hey, I can deal with this anxiety. I can deal with these different things. But I'm half and half on like where sport has gone as far as the mental side of the game and understanding mental health, right? At some rights, it's like, all right, you're being soft, right? You're taking it too far. But in some areas, it's very true of like understanding how your mind works, what makes you tick, what gives you anxiety, and the strategic and intentional steps to deal with that so that you can perform at the highest level and in the arena. And I think that that's something that should be talked about more. And I think that Michigan is kind of understood. It's starting to understand that, it's especially the way they play in this tournament. And if they can continue that, I think that they got a real shot.
Yeah, I wonder if this is the turning point for him. I don't know if it will be.
I think it will be.
Yeah, I just remember, man.
His confidence is up here, Sam. For quarterbacks,
his confidence so high we can't even see how high it is because it's so high we don't even know.
That's why I do that. It's through the roof. Hey, but for point guards and quarterbacks, confidence is extremely 100%. Important.
That's why Nick Foles goes on that run to go win the Super Bowl, because he was supremely confident, and we ain't never seen him play like that again. Not even for a single game, right? He played all those games, including one against Tom Brady. When you're so confident, it don't matter who's on the other side, right? And if you can keep that confidence, you can have those Cinderella-like runs throughout the playoffs. And Michigan is a good team. It's not like they're like a 16 seed, some bombs, where it's real Cinderella, right? It's less Cinderella and more, I don't know, Fiona, right?
Yeah. Hey, it rubs off on your teammates.
Hey, man.
That's why it's great when it comes from the point guard or the quarterback. It rubs off on everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You remember some years ago when Cassius Winston was at Michigan State.
Yeah.
And man, Michigan was killing him, destroying him. I mean, he couldn't stay on the floor. They were hiding him on defense. It was so bad. They were lighting his ass up. It was so bad. I mean, X was destroying. It was embarrassing how bad it was with him on the floor. And like after his sophomore year and Michigan won, they had won the Big Ten championship and went on a run. They came back the next year, and he had been through that experience, and he was a whole different guy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Whole different guy going through the experience, right? I mean, reps, man.
Yeah.
Reps.
Got to go through the fire. It's a tempering process, right? You got to be set up.
You got it in you.
It's the tempering process, right? Metal gets as hard as it can possibly be by being set on fire to the highest degree. Like, that's real. Like, metal only gets as hard as it can be by being set on fire. You cannot become what you want to be without going through that tempering process, and it may hurt. But if you can get through it and be on the other side, you'll have experiences that you can't explain, and you'll just have it. And like you talked about Cassius Winston, he just had it that next year.
Yep. Because but it was in him, and I'm not saying that that Trey is gonna go the way of Cassius to be great. I'm not saying he's gonna go and act and be and have that kind of career. But man, I knew he had some it in him, And boy, he brought it out at the right time. Hopefully he can carry it on. One more observation that the guys talked about, one of their adjustments on offense was they felt like they were dribbling too much, Daniel.
Mhm.
So a lot more ball
True.
and player movement. A lot less, hey, man, I'm going to dribble, and try to attack that way. Hey, man, let the ball move more, and make that happen. So Tim talked a lot about, hey, man, I want 5 pass possessions. I want to make that be where more guys touching the ball in my possessions in the
That could lead to more
path to a
turnovers.
shot, en route to a shot. Now I don't know if Michigan was listening to that and listening to that show too, but it was definitely in line with the idea that they were doing a lot more ball movement as opposed to all the dribbling that they have been doing heading into the tournament. What do you think about that adjustment heading into the Big Ten?
There's some credence to that, right? And I think it was not so necessarily everybody. It's really just one guy, 1 or 2 guys, because everybody doesn't, and this offense doesn't do a lot of dribbling. It's really Danny and the point guard. Like, man, stop dribbling so much and move the ball. Because being like in our film study that we do with Chris, we've highlighted a number of times where Danny will catch the ball. He's just going to go between the legs behind his back for no reason, right? And he's not beating the guy off the dribble. He's just really just between legs behind the back crossover. He's still right there in the same place. That's like I made the comment before, like, hey man, if he was a point guard and I was coaching him and he did that, I would tell him to eliminate that from his game because it's a lot of extra dribbling, a lot of unnecessary dribbling that puts the ball in jeopardy, which throws off the timing of our offense as well. So I definitely so it's not just it was him and Trey as well with his decision making and his ball handling and turnovers. So he's really talking to 2 guys, like your two primary decision makers. Hey, let's move the ball. And once we get into the scoring area, let's make good decisions with the ball. If you got to take more than 1 or 2 dribbles, let's pick it up and move it. Like that's a really good adjustment to try to counteract some of the turnovers.
You think he's gonna have an issue getting these guys getting their minds off of? They were pissed about not about the seed as much as when they were playing. I think they had been all right with the 5 seed if they were a 5 seed playing on Friday.
I think that's perfect, honestly. Yeah. And now you got a chip on your shoulder, right? You because the thing I thought would be scary is being overly confident coming off of a Big Ten run like they just did, right? After everybody kind of counted you out, and it looks like that chip out on the shoulder. They did all of the little things, and it's like, do you continue that once you've shown that you can win the Big Ten, which is one of the better conferences, and then you get kind of slighted, right? So it's like they created a chip for them, so now they can lean into that, like I think they kind of did to win the Big Ten championship.
Daniel, you coach. I know you had some young guys. You were a player. I know you felt slighted before. How easy was it for you to get off of that and get on to the next task at hand?
You definitely have to. Well, you can come as athletes. We learn to compartmentalize, right? Mm-hmm. So you can still hold on to that and save that for Thursday. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, I got to focus on my preparation for Thursday. But when we show up Thursday, I'm using everything I can to walk in this arena and play. I'm coming here with a chip on my shoulder, right? You're coming in as the favorite, the bigger program, the Big Ten school. Although we're only 2.5 point favorites, we have to play like with a chip on our shoulder, right? And I believe I teach my kids that we play with a chip on our shoulder no matter where we are. We can walk in and play in the local church league. Like if you're not ready to come in and compete almost to the point where it might come to blows, then we're not the team to bring in for that type of stuff, right? Because every time we walk in, we're playing like it's something to prove and it's something to lose. It's like it's something on the line. So they would keep that, like I said, keep that chip on your shoulder, right? Let it linger a little bit, let it fester a little bit, but use it as motivation in your preparation for Thursday.
Yeah, man. I'm hoping. I don't know if y'all filled out a bracket. I want to move on to talking Michigan football, spring ball. But I'm hoping that this can progress to an Elite 8 matchup with Michigan State. I just want to see them respect for what Michigan State was able to do in the regular season. They wound up being a much better team than I expected them to be. They overcame their poor shooting. They're a really deep team. They wound up shooting it better along the way than I expected them to be able to shoot it. Jace Richardson turned into a real ball player as a freshman. They did a really good job. But, man, I just don't think they like that. Like, people picking them in the Final Four, and, I mean, that might be as much a product of the draw as anything. You got Iowa State in the bracket, and Keyshawn Gilbert is out for the tournament. I think that's a fortuitous bounce for them, right? If you're Michigan, do what you got to do. You want them again in the Elite Eight. What it reminds me of, and longtime Michigan fans will know what I'm talking about, 1989. 1988, 89. The Michigan Wolverines.
They won the Natty that year, right?
Michigan, the Wolverines, they went on out and they got beat. They got beat by Illinois twice. They got beat by Illinois twice in the regular season, fellas. Twice in the regular season. And blown out at home. Blown out at home by the Flying Illini. Now, long-time Michigan fans will know that's one of the best Big Ten basketball teams of all time. That 1989 Illinois team, the Flying Illini. Man, you had some absolute ball players on that squad. Kendall Gill,
Flying Illini,
Nick Anderson, Kenny Battle, Marcus Liberty. You had dogs. Like, that squad was supposed to go to the national championship. They came in and beat the brakes off of Michigan. Beat them twice in the regular season. They saw each other again in the Final Four. And it was a different story. Everybody remembers the putback by Sean Higgins, right? Glenn Rice, 3 Mills, Lloyd Vaught, Mark Hughes. You want to see him again. I think history will repeat itself. It won't be in the Final Four, but you get him in the Elite Eight. Lose twice in the regular season, beat him in the tournament. That's what everybody remember. They won't remember them regular season games, just like they don't remember the regular season games against, by the way, this Michigan State team is nothing like that Illinois team.
No,
just
not nothing.
You won't say this Michigan team. Michigan team ain't like that Michigan team either. I know, but you get my point. You want them again in the postseason if you're Michigan.
Yeah, I just, like I said, I got to see. Like, it's great seeing this new physical embrace the bruising aspects of the game. Michigan, right? It was great to see it this weekend. If I see it again these first 2 rounds against UC Davis, I'll be confident of them playing against anybody, right? They'll give themselves a chance to win it. But I got to see it. Like, okay, we were able to do it 2-3 days in a row. Like, sometimes it's good to put together 2 or 3 days in a row. Now you got 4 days off. Can we come back and do it again, right? Can it be a week to week? Can it be a consistent thing? Or do we revert back to, giving up, 12, 13 offensive rebounds to an undersized team? Because if we do against UC San Diego, I apologize. If we do that against UC San Diego, the way they play, it's going to be a long game, right? If we play like we played this weekend, I think we'll beat them by double figures. And then we'll get out of there and no problem move on to the next round.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Rashad. I remember. Yeah, man. Jim Jackson, Lawrence Funderburk, Chris Gent.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I remember. They did get them in the regular season and in the post.
Didn't Ohio State win the league that year?
Yeah, did they win the league? Or was it Indiana that won the league? Yeah, I think Indiana might have won the league the next year. And they got him. I think it might have been Allen Henderson got it on a tip in at the buzzer, I think is how they did it. So it might have been Ohio State who won it that year. Jim Jackson.
Jim Jackson. Yeah, I'm about to say, he was nice.
He was cold. But he got it given to him in the postseason, baby. I mean, he got to give it to him in the postseason. Michigan got it done. So
Hey, admittedly, before I became a Michigan man, I was a Scooney Penn and Michael Redd fan back in the
yeah, man,
day.
man. Yeah, it's you gotta love Michigan fans and the references. So listen, want to switch gears. Before we do, a shout out to our friends at Golden Limo. If you have ground transportation needs, there's only one company to call. That is our friends at Golden Limo. That's whether you need executive transport, you need airport transport, game day transport, especially in Michigan football game days.
Transport, build a fort. I got to go to court. Golden limousine at 5.
Man, any kind of transportation needs you have. Individual transport to there when you got to carry all this equipment.
That man, the Jingle King.
And we got all this big crates of cameras and all this. Oh man, we got all this stuff to carry. Golden Limo can get you there, right? You got to get there quick, fast, and in a hurry. They can get you there. We had to travel through a blizzard from Ann Arbor to Mount Pleasant. Golden Limo got us there. We needed to get the family from home to the airport, picked up in Rome to the destination when we landed. Golden Limo got us there. But most recently, true story, I needed to get my mom down from Flint to her appointment down here in Ann Arbor. Had many work, requirements to take care of down here. Mom's not driving, and I needed a transportation service I could trust. And it dawned on me as I was driving around the medical campus, the university here in Ann Arbor, where you see all of this Golden Limo. You see all of these Golden Limo transports, the shuttles, Golden Limo shuttles across the medical campus, transporting medical employees, medical staff. Michigan medicine rides on Golden. It dawned on me I could get Golden to bring my mom down from Flint to Ann Arbor. So I said, okay, let's do that. So set up the ground transport to pick my mom up in Flint and drive her down. And she's not very trusting. She doesn't hear very well. Not very. This is not a person who you want just getting in an Uber. Let's just put it that way, right? She's very skittish about things like that. You want someone you can trust. And that's why I wanted her to ride on Golden. You talk about ground transportation that you can rely upon, trustworthy, safe, reliable. That's the Golden difference. Got her down here and say, now here's the thing. Now she only wants to ride on Golden. She doesn't even want me to come pick her up anymore. Now that happens to be a problem. Service so great. Now I can't go pick her up anymore. Now she only wants to ride on Golden. That's how great the service is, right?
Set the bar too high.
So if you have ground transportation needs, whether it's anywhere in Southeast Michigan, anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, you should ride on Golden. Go to goldenlimo.com, book your ground transportation that way. Or folks, we always say, some folks like to do it the old-fashioned way when it comes to Golden Limo in Ann Arbor, and they like to let their fingers do the walking. Remember you used to say that, let your fingers do the walking? You could give them a call at 734-668-8282. Again, that's goldenlimo.com, or call them at 734-668-8282. All right. So, fellas, Michigan football opened up spring ball, and spring ball is going to culminate with a spring game.
As it should.
Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm looking across the country, fellas, and spring games are being canceled left and right. Matt Rule over in Nebraska, he said, hey, these other coaches are scouting my players. They're going to come take my guys. Can't have a spring game. Just no way. You got basketball coaches saying, I don't even want a handshake line because coaches are taking my players. Michigan State just yesterday said, nope, canceling my spring game. Left and right. Coaches are canceling spring games, fellas. Now, I just had Ward Manuel in studio, and Ward is dropping in everyone because, he said, listen, I want to talk to the people, and I don't want to just talk to the people from the maize and blue platform. I'm going to do it from our platform, but I'm going to come over on your side of things. I said, okay. And so I asked him, I said, hey, canceling spring games, might we see a day where you cancel spring game, Ward? He said, so we going to complete a pass to my quarterback. We complete a pass to the receiver. Oh, so you saw me complete a pass to the receiver, so you can come get my receiver because my receiver caught a first down from my quarterback to my receiver. So now my receiver, you can come get my receiver because, he caught a first down in practice in front of my people at my stadium. He said, man, come on, man. He said, if that's the case, come on. He said, no, we're not canceling our spring game. Is he being short-sighted, fellas? Or are coaches being paranoid? What say you, Devin Gardner?
I think coaches are being rightfully paranoid. Yeah, if they want your players, they're going to get them. Let's be clear about that. It's been made very clear that if somebody wants your players, they're going to get them, and it's on you to keep them, right? You've been able to run through life making millions and millions of dollars and not having good seasons and being bought out and benefiting from that after ruining kids' lives because of one thing or another. They're in the doghouse, and they haven't had the chance to have any control, and now they have some, right? You got to deal with it. You're still getting all those millions of dollars, and you're still probably losing games, or maybe you're not. I don't know the case. However, it's going to backfire, and this is going to stop. And I'm going to tell you why. It's really ironic that we talked about that tempering process earlier, right? Being in that fire and seeing what these kids are made of and getting those reps. Well, in football, it's very difficult to see what people have in practice. And basketball, you can have those like runs at the YMCA, different stuff, right? You can play a lot of basketball. Can't do that in football, right? You only get a limited amount of opportunities. And I don't know if Daniel had this experience, but me and Sam, we talk about it all the time, right? State Street and Main Street. Even getting a chance to play on TV on Main Street to see what that kid is capable of is so important. Now, the older teams, they won't suffer as much, right? If you have an older team, you can scratch the spring game, and that's fine. But for the most part, a lot of people are building their teams and getting key positions from the transfer portal, right? So, yeah, he played well for that team and that arena with not nearly as many fans, right? How's he going to play here? Well, we won't ever be able to find out because we've only seen him on State Street. And, like every campus has their own State Street, right? Where you practice, right? And I'm not going to name names here, but Sam and I both have seen many people who were outstanding. The reports are coming out. This guy's unbelievable. And these guys even trick the players in the building. We even see it like, oh my goodness, this dude is nice. We got a chance. You get in that fire, and that fire is a bit too hot. I'm just telling you. And not to say the spring game is the end-all, be-all where you can see every single thing, but you get to get an idea on how a person will perform under some scrutiny. Because I'm just telling you, man, practice, the good coaches try to make it as tough as possible, but it's very hard to manufacture that feeling that we talked about earlier of my legs aren't working. Because I'm just telling you, I told this story before on Monday Morning Quarterback when I was playing and that first spring, and I'm lighting everybody up. I told Brandon Hawthorne to his face that he will never tackle me. And him and Ike Bell, I said, y'all never going to tackle me. We were live, and, I was very confident because I was getting busy. I was doing my thing. And we had a scrimmage where all the families came and whatever, and I vividly remember in the big house forgetting how to use my legs. I was running like stumbling. I felt like Bambi or Woody Woody, you got that cloth body. It's hard, man. He be running his legs all over the place. I could not believe that my body wasn't working after being so confident and so talented and so amazing for my experience, the biggest stages that I had the opportunity to play on. But there's no stage like that real stage. And that was a scrimmage, right? Which helped me kind of get ready for the spring game. In the spring game, I still felt it a little bit, right? And then the first game ever against UConn, I still felt that feeling because like we talked about earlier, I hadn't had the reps to be in the arena. State Street is not the same as Main Street. And if coaches don't figure that out, it's going to backfire. So canceling the spring game, if you don't want to take your players, they're probably going to take them anyway. But I do not agree. I vehemently disagree.
Hey, did you say that game jersey a little heavier, a little bigger than that practice uniform?
The stitching's a little bit heavier, it's not pleather no more. This is leather, I don't know what it is. It's hard to explain unless you've been in the arena, right, Daniel?
Sure.
It's hard to explain that feeling you get when the chips are stacked. And honestly, the first game, chips not really stacked, right? It's just a different atmosphere. The expectation is real. In practice, you have things called periods, right? Third down period. If you don't convert on third down on the first play of third down period, guess what happens, Daniel? You do the third down period again. You just keep doing it. If you don't complete third down in the real game, guess what? You're off the field and you don't know how long you're going to be off the field. You know what I mean? So it's just a different atmosphere. And I don't think that this is the answer to getting your players.
It's a bit selfish on the coach's end too.
100%.
Like, why would you want to limit everything that they've done so far is to provide the players with more opportunities to showcase their skills and get on the field, whether it's at your current school or another school. So why would you want to limit the opportunities they have to showcase themselves? Like, okay, he's not like if he's not playing for you as a coach, why would you want to keep him in your program and you don't have no players on playing?
Daniel, how are we gonna stack the deck and treat people how we want to treat them and still keep them in our deck? How are we gonna do that if we?
So brothers. So I think y'all looking at it from you looking at it from the perspective of players, which I would expect you to, who are looking at coaches who who you think are just trying to do you wrong, that are just being selfish. And what I'm telling you is I think they're being insecure.
100%.
Not selfish.
I think,
and I don't know if that makes it better. I'm not saying that makes it better, but I think the motivation is different. I don't think they're just being malicious, that they're just trying to get you.
Yeah.
I think they're out there being pretty Tony. Like for people,
I agree. I hear what
people
you're
have seen. Now this is dropping dimes, so we're gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who Pretty Tony is, I'm gonna give you some hope.
Yourself, Tony.
You can go check out the Mac. This is an educational film because it applies. And you got a lot of Pretty Tonys out there who are coaches, right? Mm-hmm. But if you like Goldie, then you're taking care of your business. You taking care of your business.
She chose me.
And when you go out there, if you handled your business, when your players are out there, you're gonna keep them. And if you haven't handled your business, then you won't keep them.
Hey, and to quote another movie, and to quote another famous TV show.
Am I lying?
No, you're absolutely right. And like I said, to add on to that, to quote another famous, hey, the game is the game. The Wire, your other favorite show, right? Like if you lose players because you're not handling your business, because you're not giving them the opportunities that they think they deserve, they feel they deserve, and you lose them to a program that's going to give them those opportunities, that's the game.
That's the game. And you're benefited from it because you're taking other people's players. I can see if you was like a Clemson who they starting to dabble in it now, but they were like, we're not doing that. Okay, you got a complaint to be had. Okay, we'll listen to your complaint. The rest of y'all, when you play Georgia Tech State University and you beat them by 60, but they got a nice little DN over. Oh, hold on, he gave us some trouble. You snatching him. He's your player next year now. And he know it and you know it. And you're communicating however you're doing it. I'm not gonna snitch. I don't know how you're doing it. However, you're benefiting from this game. So come on, man. Respect the game.
The game is the game, baby.
The game is the game, man.
Where Marlo and Omar when you need it, man. The game is the game. What do you say? Money ain't got no owners, only spenders.
Try to give y'all some, but that's exactly what's going on. Coaches understand that maybe they don't have the best relationships with their guys. Maybe they're not treating all their guys right.
But if they haven't figured that out by now, they probably shouldn't be coaching anymore. You can't treat people crazy now. You can't. And it's not coaching them hard, because I'm big time coach them hard guy. However, right, the games you play all the time, right? There are times where you gotta test to see how does this kid react mentally to different things or disadvantages and whatever. But some of the games they play, they take it way too far because they know there are no consequences for their actions. Well, now there are consequences, and it comes in the form of somebody paying your player to come perform for them.
Right, they can't deal with it right now. Against him,
and it's why
I know he's good, but I've been playing with him, and so now I got to coach against him.
And it's why I said, and we need to wrap it up. But it's why I said, I remember when Michigan had that adversity, they were losing those games at the end of the season. I said, man, think about that. Michigan has these fractures, but you didn't see it fracturing the team. Like we talked about that. Like you see fractures in other teams fracturing the team. Bunch of guys jumping in the portal. You see a bunch of guys jump in the portal for Michigan? You didn't see a bunch of guys jump in the portal. Late in the season, you see a lot of guys opting out of other teams. Do you see a lot of guys opt out for Michigan? Colston Loveland played as long as he could with that shoulder. He played till
people didn't realize how banged up he was. And it's like, at this point, you're betting against your own future.
Right. He played till he couldn't anymore. He couldn't play against Ohio State. He was playing with that shoulder a long time. And then he just couldn't go against Ohio State. Right?
Hey, Alex Orji.
Not like we needed him.
Right. But those other dudes, Will was out. Colston was out. Man, KG could have been like, man, my dude is out. Mason could have been like, man, my dude is out. Derek Moore could have been like, man, everybody going. I'm jumping in the draft, or I'm transferring.
Hey, Orji could be like, y'all bitch me, and I'm not playing. I'm supposedly not playing in the bowl game. He stayed and helped out for the bowl game.
Think about this. That says a lot about culture, man. So think about what that says about how Michigan is treating their guys. Right? That's the point. So think about all those pretty Tonys out there that are canceling their spring games because I'm gonna lose my players. Pretty Tony. Start calling them Pretty Tony, because that's what you see. I'm just telling you. That's what it is.
Does that make Sharon Goldie?
Let's just end the show. Let's just end the show, guys. Y'all crazy.
I don't know that he would want that connection. So I won't make that connection with Sharon. Let's just say that the coaches' relationships with their players and how they treat their guys and their culture is good at Michigan. So
straight to the top, baby.
And like Warren said, hey man, we feel good about our having a spring game here and how we treat our guys, and having that deal for our fans to come and celebrate our program and giving back to the fans. We're gonna keep having a spring game at Michigan. So there you go.
Nah, but you absolutely treat guys well, man. You have the right environment and culture. People want to
stop lying to them and just tell them the truth. Hey man, we don't think you're good enough. Or you're playing well, but these are the things that you need to do better to help you get on the field. Right.
And let them make
honest
decisions.
And stop playing games.
Yep. Do I want to meet these? Do I want to put in the work to meet these objectives and meet these goals and meet these standards? Or do I want to go somewhere else? The only thing you do is lay it on the table and let the player and his people make their choice.
But Daniel, for so many years, you've had that film, that practice film and that stuff where the players can say, man, I'm doing what you're asking me to do. Why am I still not getting an opportunity? And all they say is some garbage that ain't true. And now they got this kid thinking he crazy. Wait, am I watching the same thing?
Hey, by the way, shout out to I saw Fitzgerald Toussaint the other day, coaching over at Reggie Wynn's camp, coaching running backs. I guess he coached over
that guy.
I said, hey man, I saw your man.
Another one of guys that was playing them games, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I saw your man. He said, why you missed that block? Why you
I
missed that?
know. I know his name is first class though. That's on the all-time names list right there.
He said, tell my man DG I love him. So,
Wait, what block?
was it Fitz that missed the block or was
Man, it was Derek Green, man.
Oh,
Don't you put that on. Now, Fitz
Oh,
was not a
man.
good blocker by any stretch of imagination. That's fine, and he know that. But he was a great runner, and he knew where to be when he was supposed to be blocking. He just wasn't a great blocker. It was Derek Green.
Okay, Derek Green. I see Derek.
Oh, you were in, okay. Y'all did play together.
I forgot. I don't know where Derek Green.
Oh, I ain't gonna say nothing. Look at that
Yeah,
face.
right. But Fitz, hey man, Fitz still look like he can play. Fitz still look like he can play. Looking good over there. Good coach. Anyway, folks, that's gonna do it for us. We'll see you next time on the next edition of Steady Dropping Dimes.
Fitzgerald Toussaint should fight you for getting the mixed up with Derek Green.
I didn't get it mixed up as like a player, like a physique or anything.
Don't try to bring up now.
All right, we out.